Good afternoon, guys. Freon recharging the Ranger and putting some stop leak in it. Because we got a leak on the Freon. But I want to show you guys something new. The new design to prevent Freon from escaping in the atmosphere, which is a complete farting joke. If you guys would see this is your new Freon style on the new bottles. I don't think you guys can tell, but my finger's wet from the top of this. And this can's about half full. I just bought this can today at the parts store. And give you an idea, this has been sitting behind the seat in our Ford Ranger. Here's a can that's been sitting on the bench outside for almost, about a year? About a year. It's probably about 2 months from being a year, been sitting on that deal. Still full, still sealed. This can I just bought this morning, and it leaks. This is the new design. I prefer these over these because you got to puncture the top of this to seal it. And what their idea is behind this is what the guy behind the parts counter told me this morning. Is when you get down with these cans and say you got a little and not much of anything left in it from charging. When you unscrew this off top, it just sprays out the excess.
So it will shut it off. It will replug the can.
What I mean is when I was saying this here, you unscrew it and you got just nothing left in it. You unscrew this, it'll bleed it out. This is supposed to prevent it from ever doing that. My concern is, because they're saying 134A is bad for the environment, which I do agree with them. This is supposed to stop that. Brand new can. It's leaking. Right off the shelf. What my concern is with the technology. You got a brand new can that leaks. What good is it? Because you're leaking the same amount of product out in the atmosphere versus a can that's been sitting outside in the elements, give or take 2 months, from being a year old, and it has no problem. The only difference is when you undo it off your chuck, which I'll show you. And this is your old style 134A system. You got a puncture node in the bottom, which I'll take it off. If you guys would see that little puncture point in there? That will punctures tops of these cans. Well, for this, you can screw this down in here and pull it out, it'll seal you back. So they came out with a hack so you can do it. This little node right here will push down into that can, and it'll release it, and you can turn it off, and you'll still be able to use the product in the can. But what you're going to do, like say I buy this and I didn't do this today, and I left it set out in the elements, let's say on the shelf in the shop for about a year. Went to go grab my can. I spent $8.99 on a can of stuff. What good is it to me now? I can't use it because it's done leaked out of the system and done leaked out in the atmosphere. Whoever come up with this design, you need to redraw your idea, because I like the design, but your attack of a flaw is in your little rubber seal right here. This won't leak ever unless you puncture the container. This is already leaking from the factory. And you heard that. As soon as you screw that deal in, it punctured the can. And this is always screwed up. So to be honest with you, this design, because I'm going to use the new cartridge, this design right here, I have pretty much, I paid $8.99 for a full can of product. I'm not getting my full can of product because that seal is not holding, and then when you puncture it into the charge port to charge your gauge set, you're leaking stuff. This thing will not puncture until this is turned down in there, until this has been screwed down in there to puncture the lid. This here, to me, is a complete waste of time. Go ahead and start this so I can get a reading. But yeah, I figured I'd show you guys this. And this is, right now they're pushing this in industry because this is supposed to be safer. My opinion, I don't think it's any safer. I think you're actually wasting product at this point. Turn the AC on.